singles conference. You know, some may say that there weren't a lot of folks there, but in my estimation of things that go well, that's not even a consideration for me. I say we have no idea how God would work in the heart of somebody that was attending there today, in the future, or in eternity. We never know what God will do in people's hearts. It seems to me that the Lord often dealt with the few. He went to Peter. He went to the 12 apostles. He went to the woman at the well. But even in the feeding of the 5,000, he went to the one little boy. And I think that's how God works. I think great things will come from that singles conference. I think Amy and John did a great job. I think all the workers were into it, loving what they're doing. I want to talk about something that probably may be a little unique today. Is that music on? Or is that just in my mind? I hear music all the time. I want to talk about something a little unique today, and it's going to be about men. Don't worry, ladies, I think you'll get something out of it. Nothing else, you'll get fodder to use against men. But it's about men. I think men today are different than I remember men when I was a kid. I remember a day when men were men. They stood up and were accounted for. I remember I never saw a male. Up until probably, I tell you the first time I saw a male that didn't act like a male. I was in Denver, Colorado. I was in technical school for the Air Force. And I saw a guy dress up, walking down the street in downtown Denver, looking like a woman. I wasn't subtle about my surprise. The guys I was with said, that's the guy right there. Can you believe that is the guy? I could not believe it. It blew my mind. It was the guy. That was the first time I saw an effeminate guy. Growing up, when my grandfather spoke, I almost went to attention. I mean, he demanded respect, and I wasn't going to question him. Men led by examples. They did all the things that a man should do. They protected those who were theirs. They provided. They ensured that their family had what they needed to live. Men set the standard for, I think society was a little more orderly then because men stood up and set the standard. And men, real men, loved until life was over those that were given them. You know, I don't care if somebody's rich or poor. I don't care if they're black or white. I don't care if they're a laborer or a boss. At that time, men were men. Men were strong men. And I think in society we miss that. We miss a man standing up for what is right. I think today we have a dearth of true men in our society. Eugene, is Eugene back there? I wanted him to pull something up, and I'll pull that up in a minute. Turn to 2 Samuel chapter 11. Hey, Terry. How you doing? Good. Men were men. Men stood up. And we're going to look at somebody today, I think, who was a man. 2 Samuel chapter 11, and I'm going to read quite a bit. Eugene, before I do, can you pull that up now? Men being men. Something's gone wrong in society. Y'all have all seen that. Something has gone wrong. Men are not what they used to be. Men think that acting with feelings and emotions is the right way to interact with folks. You know, we need men to be men, period. Look, go to the next one, Eugene. Yeah. That's what we have today. Go to the next one. What's happened to us? What's happened to men? Turn to 2 Samuel chapter 11. And I'm going to read quite a bit of chapter 11, but I think it's important to do that. Starting at verse number 1. And it came to pass, after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it came to pass in an eventide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, "Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" And David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, and she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived and sent and told David, "I am with child." And David sent to Joab, saying, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto David, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And David said to Uriah, "Go down to thy house and wash thy feet." And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of the Lord, of his Lord, and went not down to his house. But when they told David, saying, "Uriah went not down to his house," David said unto Uriah, "Camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down into thy house?" And Uriah said unto David, this is a key verse, and I think later on I will dissect this a little bit, but Uriah said unto David, "The ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing." And David said to Uriah, "Tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart." So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And when he had called, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And in evening he went out to lie in his bed with the servants of his Lord, but went not down to his house. And it came to pass that David wrote a letter to Joab, and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, "Set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die." And it came to pass, when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah into a place where he knew that valiant men were. And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab. And there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uriah the Hittite died also. Then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and charged the messenger, saying, "When thou hast made an end of telling the matter of the war unto the king, if it be so that the king's wrath arise, and saying to him, Wherefore approacheth ye nigh into the city, when ye did fight, and knew not that that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech, the son of Jerubbabeth?" And that's not pronounced right. "Did not a woman cast a piece of millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in Thebez? Why went ye nigh to the wall? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also." Uriah is a secondary figure, truly, in the story of David and Bathsheba and the baby. But there's a lesson to be learned from Uriah. Uriah can teach us many things about being a man, about doing what's right, about standing on principle. He was one of David's mighty men, men listed who were valiant in battle, men who were courageous fighters. Many of those guys, David's mighty men, had followed David since he was running from King Saul. Uriah's house, being in close proximity to the palace where David lives, indicates his closeness to David. The Bible says David went out on his balcony and looked, I think just a little ways over, at Bathsheba, where Uriah lived. Uriah was close to David. I believe that Uriah is a type of a saved person. A saved person who is a faithful soldier to the end, who died with honor in the battlefield, serving the king. That's Uriah. Uriah, yet he that faithful servant had a leader that took advantage of him, that used him. I'm sure as an experienced military man, you know, the Hittites were known to be warriors, to be fighters. They were feared by many. And I'm sure when Uriah brought back the death sentence in his own hand to Joab and gave it to Joab and followed precisely what Joab told him to do, this great warrior, this Hittite, as he's in the battle, I imagine he starts looking around saying, okay, what he's having us do is not making any sense. This is not what we should be doing. But Uriah did it anyway because he was a good soldier. He followed precisely what his leader told him to do. You know, I think that I can remember being 17, 18 years old and thinking I knew everything. Did you feel like that, Terry? Carl? Dave? Phil? Jordan? Ben? I'm sorry, still at that stage, yeah. If there's one thing that I wish I could go back and change in life, it's that age. And I wish I would learn to listen and follow. Uriah did that. He knew the battle plan that he was in the middle of wasn't the right thing. But he was a good soldier, and he did it nonetheless. I'd like to compare Uriah to 2 Timothy, if you would turn there, chapter 2, because I think they're really a parallel in what they teach. We should be good soldiers for the Lord. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse number 1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. No man that warreth entangleth themselves with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. I see Uriah as the Old Testament version of a good soldier, somebody that was going to follow the commands, doing what is required of him, regardless of consequence, doing what is required of him, seeking no fame, seeking only to do what he should be doing, regardless of consequences. In life, that's what men need to do and to be. Take care of the responsibilities that we've been given in life, because it is our responsibility. Be a man. Be a man. Be a good soldier. A soldier must be faithful, following orders and doing as he's told. Our day is different. It's different today. And I can't adequately convey to these young people how different it is today. But it is different. Today, following an order, following a command from somebody, we see it as being subservient and belittling to us. How dare you tell me what to do? We've gone from men standing up to be men to guys thinking they're being belittled because they've been told to do something. Be a Uriah. Let's stand up and do right. Uriah, did exactly as Joab commanded, even knowing, I believe Joab started looking around saying, I'm getting ready to get killed here. This is not the way to, I've been in hundreds of battles. This is not the one. And this is not what we should be doing. But he didn't stop slinging the sword. He kept moving forward as commanded. In 1977, I was stationed at Lowry Air Force Base in Aurora, Colorado, right outside of Denver. And after I'd been there, I don't know, some months, I got a packet of paper sent to me, and it was some orders. And it said, you have to be at Elmendorf Air Force Base by 5 o'clock on November the 21st. I had a responsibility to follow the orders. I couldn't decide, I do not want to go to Alaska. Okay, let's just be clear about it. I do not want to go to Alaska. I had no choice in the matter. And I went. And I'm thankful that I did, because I found a beautiful woman there. Thank the Lord for those orders in life. We never know the consequences of the directives that we've been given in life. We never know. You never know what's going to happen to you. God does. God knows exactly what's going to happen, Liam. He knows exactly what's going to happen in your life. And the best thing that you can do in life is listen to that man right there. I know. It's the best thing you can do in life. It's the best thing you can do. Ben, you too. Dan, you never know what the results are going to be and the benefits that you'll get in life from following the orders and being what a man should be when he's under the directive of the king. I am giving you such wisdom right now, and I pray that you grab it and don't put it in your mind, put it in your heart, because it will benefit you in life. And I just hit this and lost where I was at. Uriah, I believe, thought this. Mine is not to question why. Mine is to do and die. I know that I would give my life for my wife. I know that. I don't question that. I know that. That's what a man should do. That's how God made us. As we follow him, we ought to give every ounce of who we are, even to the dying breath, to those that God has given us responsibility for. Did I read I read 2 Timothy, did I? He was faithful and true to the end. So a good soldier must be faithful and follow orders, not worrying about being subservient and being belittled, but do what he should do. Another thing that a man's not selfish. A man doesn't live his life for him. Guys, I'm going to give us a secret. Life's not about you or me. It's not about you, Dave. It's not about Jeff. It's about the others that we have responsibility for in life. It's never about you, Jordan. Never. It's about her. I can't imagine coming from a battle, being summoned by the king, knowing you had a beautiful wife. The Bible says she was beautiful. Knowing you had a beautiful wife, knowing you're at the building probably right next to your house, and you don't go there. That'd be hard, wouldn't it, guys? You hadn't seen your wife in months. She's beautiful. Very difficult. But Uriah didn't go there because he knew as a man what he should be doing. He didn't spend his time in selfish desires, looking out for him and him alone, where his desires consumed him. He had other priorities in life. A real man, the kind of man that this society needs, is a man that lives for somebody else and lives for others. And that's who Uriah was. That Hittite, wasn't even Jewish, decided, I am going to live my life for somebody else, and it's not about me. You know, any man worth his weight in salt, and I don't even know where that saying came from, and even how valuable it is. I guess salt was very valuable at one time. Any man worth his weight in salt has endured hardships. You'll have them, and you'll have them, and y'all will have them. And I'm old, and I'm still going to have them. Any man who is a man will endure hardships. He isn't a soft man. He's a man. Life is difficult at times, and I think you would agree. Life seems to be one battle after another. It seems my whole life I've fought and fought a battle. I've battled, name what area, and I battled that. The problems have never ended. We go from one battle to another and fight. And Uriah, enduring hardships, rather than going to his house, which was probably a 5-minute walk, slept on the king's porch. Enduring hardships, being unselfish in life. Bow up when problems come. Be a man when problems come. Face the challenges when problems come. Me, and I can't think of the guy's name. You were in the car, and me and him were out knocking on doors right down here. And we knocked on that one door, and that big guy come charging at us. Do you remember his name? I can't think of his name. We were down here knocking on doors one Saturday, and started in the neighborhood and come all the way around. I saw a guy at the end of the street get in his car and leave, and I waved at him, and we come around, and then come to his house, the guy who pulled out. And we knocked on the door, and we're having a conversation with his wife, and there had to be 10 kids there, and talking to them. And right in the middle of it, we hear this flying up the driveway, slamming on the brakes, jumping out, this huge guy. Phil is a small man compared to this guy. He was a huge guy, got up cussing at us, and you waited till I left till you come to my house and talk to my wife. I wanted to run, but I thought, no, I got to stand up. And I walked right up to him. He said, you and I waited for each other. You knew I was going around here. This is a false pretense that you're trying to convey. I bowed up. He backed down. Thank the Lord. He backed down. Be men. Stand up. We don't have men standing up today. We have men letting things pass by that should be addressed in life. I could spend this entire Sunday school talking about the problems that I've had to face here at church. Not in the rest of my life. Here at church. One right after the other. Been here 38, 39 years. There's been a lot of them. But I ain't running from the problems. I'm not going to run from them. I choose to stay and fight problems. I choose that. And that's what Uriah did. That is just life. Endure hardness. Be prepared, Dan and Ben, Liam. Be prepared for life. There'll be fighting in battles. Endure the hardness. Number 3, good soldiers like Uriah must not entangle themselves with the affairs of this life first. We're going to have entanglements. It shouldn't be in the first place of our life. You know, there are obligations that we'll have in life. All of us will have obligations that we have to fulfill and take care of in life. But we must not, like Uriah, must not entangle ourselves with the affairs of this life first, becoming ensnared with the things of our own making first, like a trapped animal ensnared by the problems of life. All of us have experienced the desire to have stuff and things, a car, a house, relationships, financial independence, but sooner or later, those things ensnare us. Have you ever bought a car and 6 months, 12 months down the road, that payment becomes a burden to you? That's happened to me. Has it happened to you? Have you ever bought a house and loved that house, but then the upkeep and the monthly payment and the repair worries begin to grab your time in life? Have you ever had a relationship that you pursued because she's pretty or he's handsome? That was never said about any of us guys, just to be clear. But pursue those relationships, but after a while, the relationship entails worry and fretting and arguing and jealousy. You're already saying, Jeff, what are you saying? Are cars and houses and relationships and all that wrong? No, of course not. We have to have those things in life. But watch out for the entanglement where they take our time away from where it should be. Uriah knew what the priority was. It was being of service to the king. We often can't serve the king because we're entangled with the things of this world. Uriah refused to go home. He refused to go home to his wife while the battle was going on elsewhere. I ask us to think about our lives, to think about what our priority of life is. What is the priority of our life? It will tell us where we stand. When we answer that question, it will tell us where we stand with the king. I pray that we would have some Uriahs here whose desire is to serve him first and foremost, and not our desires, and not our lust, and not the things that we want. He made David's mighty men. Those were men of gallantry, men of valor, men who vanquished the enemy, and men who were willing to fight for a cause. Stand up and fight for a cause. He was a man of great character. I can remember in reading about, obviously I wasn't there during this time, Terry was, World War II. And I remember reading about 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds who were lying about their age to go fight and defend this country, lying about it, because they were young men who were becoming men. Later on, in 67, 68, 69, I read about other young men. I said, not me. I'm not going to go fight in Vietnam. I'm going to Canada. We need World War II type guys and not Vietnam type guys. We need to stand up and fight. There are things in this life worth fighting for. You know that, guys? There are things worth fighting for, Terry. I mean, standing up and fighting for. And we need to be the guy that will stand up, know what our priorities are in life, know what matters to us in life, and stand up and fight. That's who Uriah was. He said in 2 Samuel 11:11, I think it is, he said, Israel and Judah are in the field. I can't go down to my wife. He knew the value of being with God's people. He knew the value of doing the right thing, even if it was not comfortable for him to do. I think that we also have a time in life where people have more allegiances to things that don't matter than to things that really matter. Have you guys seen around here? I've been looking actually the past 2 weeks to see if I see it. There was a car that was painted and had all the emblems of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Have y'all seen that? There was another one around here that was painted he was representing the Dallas Cowboys. I haven't seen them recently, but I've seen them. The allegiances that people have to things that don't matter. You know, this world seems to have more allegiances to things than many servants of the Most High. People willing to make their car look like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they don't even get paid for it. They just do it, which blows my mind. I don't understand that. Are we true to him? Are we representing him that way? I think not most of the time, me included. I think not. But we should be. That's who Uriah was. I got about 2 more minutes. And Uriah was faithful to the death in his beliefs, in what he did. There's one thing that I pray for often. Till the day I die, let me be faithful. Let me be faithful to you. Let me be faithful to your church. Let me be faithful to my wife. Guys, being a man can be difficult, but the instruction manual isn't that thick. It's about 1 page. Do right. Stand up for those you should stand up for. Live that way till you die. That's what he expects of us. And Uriah is the perfect example for us men to know what our priorities in life should be and how we should live our life. Let's be Uriah. We're dismissed.